ZeroRanger is a fantastic game that has one particular creative choice that has fascinated me enough to want to talk about it. If you haven't played it for yourself, I highly recommend you do so now, because I'm going to be spoiling the game in a crucial way. While it is a story spoiler technically, I'm more interested in dissecting why a specific twist at the end of the game exists, and why I think it's effective in conveying an overarching message the game is trying to convey. If you need motivation to play ZeroRanger, let me pitch it to you. It's a very well-designed shoot-'em-up that is extremely approachable to even newcomers to the genre, myself included. It has gorgeous pixel art with a very distinct color palette of orange and green reminiscent of copper, an amazing chiptune soundtrack that syncs up with what's happening in each stage, and a very intriguing story that's very show, don't tell in presentation. The dev team, System Erasure, would go on to make a sister game titled Void Stranger, which you may or may not have heard of before due to both its praise and also infamy regarding its game design. Got all that? Good. Go play the game or watch a playthrough. There be spoilers ahead. If you're still here, or just returned after playing or seeing what happens, then let's start by talking about ZeroRanger's progression. Each time you get a game over, your score is fed into a Dharma Chakra mandala, which once completely filled gives you a permanent continue, letting you have a maximum of 8 continues. This is a really great mechanic for new players, especially those who otherwise wouldn't care about doing a 1cc or going for high scores. Every run feels like you're making progress despite your losses, because you get that positive feedback. If you start out and die to Stage 1-1's boss, well, in your next run, you effectively have double the amount of hits you can take. And with the ability to start a run on any stage you've unlocked, you're able to choose how difficult you want the game to be. If you want to 1cc from Stage 1-1 to Stage 2-4, you can do that. If you want to just immediately jump into 2-4 with all the continues you've built up, you can do that too. Which on your first playthrough, you probably will start a run from the last stage you unlocked pretty often, because the game is pretty dang hard initially. The late game stages in particular will burn through your lives as you try to get used to the blizzards of bullets some bosses like to throw at you. And of course, you want to know what's next in the narrative you're given, so of course you'll keep playing from where you last died. All of this is what is put on the line in the last moments of ZeroRanger's Green-Orange campaign. Your continues and game progress are all forfeit if you lose to the final boss, the Primeval Fighter. This may seem like a rather brutal punishment by the game, and it is. But let me try and convince you that this moment, and the entire game, is teaching a lesson to the player. The entire game, I believe, is centered around this moment. It's a pivotal point in the plot, and is cleverly foreshadowed through the intro cutscene you see on a fresh install, being the same cinematic you see when you lose to the Primeval Fighter. There's also the fact that there are high scores already present before you begin the game. You are not the first one to embark on this journey, and are just another soul embarking into an endless war. The game expects you to lose again and again throughout its runtime, as Erasure constantly tells you your odds of success are astronomically low. Cycles are a common theme, from the second half of the game being a new loop of the first, to how you can trap yourself in endless cycles in Stage 2-3 and during the segment titled Final Boss if you do not take an action to break said cycles. One of the first things you are told in the game after getting a game over for the first time is that you've entered an endless cycle of life and death. And, of course, the continue system involves filling the Dharma Chakra mandala with your score over and over again. Which then leads into the Buddhist imagery. I'll point to some possible specific symbolism on screen, but I believe it's used in a more general sense to invoke one of the most well-known aspects of Buddhism, samsara, or the endless cycle of rebirth. The eventual end goal of which is to achieve enlightenment after living many past lives. This all culminates in why you are fighting the primeval fighter. Erasure tells you sending you back to the start of the invasion of planet Daikon won't change the outcome. It'd create an endless cycle. To break the cycle, you must destroy the primeval fighter in the past when it was created using the Lotus Jewel. You must attain enlightenment. But what good is this focus on a central theme of repetition and cycles if it's used for something that quite a few players will just see as a dick move by the developers? After all, save data deletion as a punishment for failure is, frankly, something you do not implement into your game for the obvious reason that it's not player-friendly. Sure, you can pull an Eternal Darkness or an Undertale and pretend to threaten deleting the player's save file, but most of the time these are merely bluffs. What is the point that the game is trying to get across in such a vague and downright hostile manner? Well, you lose your progress in gaining continues and your ability to freely choose which stage you want to start from. That's really it. And sure, that is all your progress. But said progress realistically isn't much. There's only 8 stages and you can get a max of 8 continues. The save data loss is more or less an inconvenience for completing the game quicker. But then, why was there the creative decision to force the player to complete a run of the game to earn 1 chance at full completion? I've been dancing around this topic for a bit now. It's time to talk about mastery. When you start to learn any skill, you'll always start with a novice understanding. But as you continue to work on it and practice, your understanding will start to grow. Progress, of course, takes time. You won't be able to pick up a pencil and know how to draw an elaborate piece after only a few tries. Nor will every attempt be perfect. You will make mistakes. Your patience will falter. But if you keep at it, bit by bit, you will improve. You will climb closer to the summit of mastery. ZeroRanger is a game that asks you, dares you even, to become good at it. To become great at it. To my understanding, most shoot-em-ups are not as forgiving as ZeroRanger when it comes to their continue systems. You either get infinite continues, which eliminates any challenge, or are immediately asked to 1cc the game, which can be a tall order for a newcomer. ZeroRanger strikes a balance with its continue system, providing the player support before figuratively removing the training wheels it had placed. The continue system lets you learn the game and its quirks. The enemy patterns in each stage, your preferred loadout and routing, the secrets in each stage. Only at the end is it taken away as one final test, as it throws you into the unknown with you carrying only your fundamentals with you. Inevitably, you'll likely fail, be brought to the start in frustration. But this is when Erasure repeats an important message to you. You had it rough, didn't you? You've entered a rough cycle of life and death. You must follow the noble path to escape it. Be warned, though. As you cling on to this cycle, your desires poison your mind. Ignorance, attachment, aversion. Feeding these unwholesome thoughts will only lead to more suffering. May you attain enlightenment. This speech, initially directed towards your chosen pilot, is recontextualized to be addressed to you, the player. Let go of your ignorance of the inevitable. Let go of your attachment to each particular run. Let go of your aversion to failure to clear your mind. A minor setback, a mistake, is part of the process of mastery. If you keep playing, you'll notice you'll get better at the game. Enemy patterns are anticipated and countered. Attacks that once claimed many lives will be dodged with ease. New strategies will emerge, new high scores reached with each attempt. Your first run took you 6 hours. Your second took you 3 hours. Your third only 2. Your fourth only a little over an hour. Your progress to mastery can be felt. It is rendered tangible. Until inevitably you get the perfect run. With enough attempts, you eventually complete your goal and attain enlightenment. And let me tell ya, that victory feels very fucking earned. Your mastery of the game is not represented by save data. It's by the muscle memory you developed over the course of playing it. Shoot 'em ups, through their origins in the humble arcade, display mastery through high scores and being able to use as few continues as possible. ZeroRanger praises you for being able to no-hit its stages, calling you untouchable. A 1cc will typically give enough score to earn 6 continues, which is more than enough hits in my opinion to take on the primeval fighter. This, I think, is the lesson ZeroRanger is trying to teach you. It acts as a metaphorical microcosm of learning and practicing anything, really. There will be slip-ups. Hell, there may even be major setbacks that cause you to start over. But the journey back to where you were gets easier and easier each time because of your acquired knowledge. You just need to stay focused and motivated. Eventually, you'll reach your end goal. Now, with this message that I've laid out, there's one thing left to address. How does the Great Oppressor version of the game tie into this? The version that acts as essentially a New Game Plus, and is seemingly more generic compared to the Green-Orange version. Doesn't that clash with the message I spent the video building up, since it'd imply you'd feel unsatisfied once you do achieve what you're looking for? And well, it kinda does look like that when you initially play it. And don't get me wrong, that does of course happen sometimes when you achieve your goals and have nothing left to reach. But I think it helps support the message I laid out because it instead illustrates the opposite scenario. In the Great Oppressor version of the game, the alien force you fight isn't committed to killing the entire human race, but merely conquering it. When you complete Stage 2-4, the ending you're given isn't as bleak. Humanity isn't dead, your ship isn't damaged, and your pilot isn't dying. Instead of sacrificing everything for a chance to make things right, you're instead able to return home with no challenge. And this feels anticlimactic, doesn't it? You know there should be more. You've played it before, and yet you simply win with no resistance. If you fast forward to the end result without putting in the time, the effort, the struggle to achieve it, your victory feels hollow. It doesn't feel earned. Which I think is represented by the fact that even though you unlock alternate color palettes, the one the Great Oppressor version starts you with is gray and orange. The gray replacing the iconic green you had before. A crucial part of the game's identity is missing in this version because it lacks that struggle. And that may be why, despite having beaten the game, a part of me wants to completely reset it. Play through what used to be a struggle that is now cleared effortlessly, but still remains at the end of the day fun. So I'd be able to experience what makes ZeroRanger so unique once again. If you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you. Perhaps check out some of my other content, or subscribe if you'd like to see more in the future. It's greatly appreciated. Hope you have a good rest of your day.